Welcome back, friends. I hope you had a great discussion, and I hope we can all agree that you thrive by leading change. In this section, we're going to discuss three different types of change leaders. I'm a storyteller by heart, so let me share another story with you. 6 years ago, our organization was facing a major transformation. There was new leadership, there was a new strategy, and a mandate to modernize. The mood was tense, and people were clinging to old sheet music when the tempo of the business was speeding up. In that very moment, I knew that I needed to be a change leader. And I knew that I needed multiple approaches. I walked into a leadership meeting with my peers and I said, right now, we sound like a marching band playing jazz music. We need to improvise. We need more than just precision. Now, I started by challenging the status quo. I was the agitator. I was asking lots of questions. I questioned why we were still using legacy systems. I asked why we were afraid of pilots. I asked what the cost of doing nothing was. My role was like a trumpet. I was loud, I was disruptive, and I was impossible to ignore. Some called it noise. I called it being a change leader. Now, once I got that room all stirred up, I shifted gears and my change leadership role. I aimed to be an innovator. I began asking about experimentation and suggesting and planning pilots. I was setting up and leading design thinking workshops, and I was hosting cross functional jam sessions. Now, we didn't wait for permission to do all of these things. We were innovating along the way and getting feedback. We wrote the chords of how work got done. Now, innovation wasn't a department, it became a rhythm that we taught ourselves to play. Now, finally, I needed to shift into the orchestrator role. I was focused on aligning my team, my peers, my stakeholders, and securing executive leadership for the changes that we wanted to make. I created roadmaps that blended agility with accountability. I wrote out communication plans to make sure that every person involved in the change was informed. At this point in time, we weren't playing solos anymore. We were creating a symphony of change. Change leadership is rarely a solo act. It's a dynamic performance that calls for different roles at different times. Now, whether you're an agitator for action, innovating new paths, or orchestrating alignment, the role you play is situational. Now, based off of your skill competencies and relationships and influence, you may naturally favor one role over the other. The key is to knowing when and how to switch instruments and when to lead and when to let others lead. My friends, this leads us to our next set of discussion questions. When have you played the trumpet? What improvisations have led to breakthroughs? And how do you conduct harmony across chaos? I look forward to having you share your thoughts.